decided to go live because I'm reading in my flat, and I thought maybe some other people might want to read with me. I quite enjoy these read and study with me lives that other people do. So I thought, why not? I'm just going to sit here and read, going to have some drinks, going to have some snacks. Um, and yeah, I'm just going to take on some information and probably set my alarm every maybe 15 to 20 minutes, maybe 10 to 15 minutes, so I can read some comments and say hello and see how you guys are getting on. If you want to read, if you want to study, maybe you've got some crafting you want to do, some embroidery or whatever. Hi, Butterfly Love Child. Great name. Amazing name. I love that. So yeah, I thought I'm sitting here reading. Let's read together. Hi, a girl on the path. A girl on a path. I like that. Hello, darlings. All the hellos coming in thick and fast now. Who wants to do some reading? What's your feeling? Natalie says hello from Indiana. Hello, darling. Oh, Jen says, please keep me company as I finish out this work day. Yep, happy to do that. 100% happy to do that, darling. So Rachel says, this is so nice because I live alone and I miss silent company. Oh, darling, I live alone too. No pets to speak of. So I guess this is something for both of us, let's say. Yeah, I used to love, I was just saying to a friend of mine before I started recording that I used to love going with my very best friend and reading with him all afternoon in like a bar. There's a particularly nice pub in the road up from where we both live, on the road up from where we both live. And we used to love nothing more than just going on a Sunday, grabbing a few pints and just reading our books and stopping sort of like sporadically for a bit of chat, but basically just accompanying each other as we read. And I miss that so much. I am equal parts exhilarated and full of apprehension at getting back to normal post-pandemic. I'm having a lot of feelings about it. I'm having a lot of emotions and a lot of responses to it. Not all of them are positive for me. So, but that's one thing I will be very much looking forward to getting back to. That and my gym opening. Both of those things cannot come soon enough because I really do love to read with a friend, you know, just sit there and read together. It's lovely. But I'm a friend of myself and I will be today reading with myself and some of you. So that'll be really lovely. Kelly saying I crave an afternoon like that, right? I mean, come on, that's surely something so many of us miss. Elizabeth says, oh, is it a YA novel about a young witch? What I'm reading? Oh no, I don't read YA. Not that I've got anything against YA, I just barely read fiction at all, to be honest with you. There is no fiction in this pile. So basically, I've got a pile next to me of various things that I'm going to read. I'm going to read for about 2 hours, I think. I'm going to give myself a good 2 hours of reading. I might not film the whole thing, but I've got a few different things I might tuck into. I think I might start with one of my books that I haven't read yet. Oh no, wait a minute, I'm lying to you. No, I've got two here that I haven't read. Spiritual Growth with Entheogens is one that I'm looking forward to tucking into soon. I bought this ages ago, guys, during my birthday trip to Glastonbury, and I never touched it. But that's kind of normal for me. I do sometimes have books hanging around that I intend to read at some point, and I get to it eventually. So Psychoactive Sacramentals in Human Transformation, edited by Thomas B. Roberts, and there's lots of different sort of contributions in here from transpersonal psychologists and different kinds of scientists. And so this is something I really am excited about reading. Might start this, or the other option for a new book, actually there's two, but so this is definitely on my to be read, so that might be something I read. I really want to read The Ethical Slut. This is you know, sort of the Bible on polyamory, I suppose you could say. I've always just wanted to know what's in there. Never read it before, so I've read parts of it, of course, because parts of it have come up in articles and online in discussions and things like that. But I've been sort of open to and practicing different forms of non-monogamous framework in relationships for over 10 years now. So I would just like to know what is in here. And the other thing is the Rennie Edo Lodge book, Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race. This is on my list of my sort of anti-racism reading that I'm doing, and I really do want to get into that. So one of those might be started this evening. I might start with something I was already reading, though. I don't know, actually. I'm going to reread Nonviolent Communication. I've been really enjoying getting back into some of these concepts again. So I'm definitely going to reread this. I'm reading the autobiography of Malcolm X. Fucking incredible read, guys. Absolutely beautiful, this book. Amazing. Yeah, so there's a few different things here. I'm reading Hood Feminism, so I might read a bit of that. So yeah, there's going to be a little bit of things. I'm going to be making a dent in a few different things. What are you guys reading? Are any of you going to read with me? Yeah, so this is the things on my list. Rachel joking, entheogens. I don't know that one. No, I don't know. I've never heard of them. What are they? Sorry about the refocusing, guys. Every time I touch the screen to go through the comments, it just refocuses. I don't know what I can do about it. Okay, Elle is saying I've been avoiding my coursework, so I suppose I've got no excuses now. No, you do not. Get that coursework out. Let's get it done. Darlings, I will leave it up to you to decide. What is it that you would like to use your time on if you're going to be hanging out with me? And yeah. Nice selection, says Rachel. I'm going to read the Amber Spyglass, really enjoying the His Dark Materials series and the parallels to tarot and spirituality in it. Yeah, I've definitely heard about those parallels and people really loving that series. So that's really awesome to know. So whatever you guys want to read, just read along with me. As I said, I'm going to be using my little alarm so that I can sort of check in with you guys, see how you're doing. Obviously, I'm not going to be monitoring the comments. So yeah, I'm not going to be chatting too much between times. I've got some snacks. I've got some milk bottles, vegan milk bottles. I love these sweets. I saw them and I really didn't think they were going to be vegan, and they had vegan written on the front of them, and I was like, I'm very happy about this. This is awesome. I've got some strawberry laces, some lollipops, and I'm having some Dr. Pepper Zero for my drink. I do have water as well, guys. Just don't lecture me, all right? I've got the water. Oh, it's nice and cold. It's lovely. Elle says, yes, for Malcolm X. Been reading Body and the Soul, the Black Panther Party, and the Fight Against Medical Discrimination. Oh, wow. That sounds like an incredible read. Sounds amazing. I love everybody, you know, sort of interacting and talking about things you guys are reading. That's really cool. Jackson is reading Circe by Madeline Miller. Amazing. I was just talking to somebody earlier who's read that book and really, really enjoyed it. So that's interesting. Oh, Tri-Town Tarot is Sam. We talked earlier. Hello, darling. We did talk earlier. How are you, my sweet? I think I'd let you know that I might be doing this later. It's nice to see you, sweetie. Okay. Ooh, A Girl on a Path is finishing The Trials of Morrigan Crow. That sounds cool. Okay, so we're all going to be doing some reading, studying. Let's get into it. How long have I spent titting around? 8 minutes. Okay, there's no more excuses. Let me get this Dr. Pepper poured, and I will be cracking open a book. And I suppose the title makes it quite self-explanatory for anyone who's just coming along, that indeed we are reading together. Oh, that's the one I'd already started, the codependent. So I'm reading the Codependency Recovery Plan. Slowly, really, really slowly reading this one, but it's really incredible. I've been reading it for ages. If there's anybody in my Discord group, you're going to look at that and think, Kellyanne, you're not finished with that yet. You were talking about that ages ago, which I was, but you know, I quite like to have a few different books on the go for my different moods that I have. So maybe I'll start with a little bit of the Codependency Recovery Plan. It really is incredible. If you want to help anyone that deals with codependency, if you've dealt with codependency in any measure, really is a good one. So I think I'll start with that, guys. Okay. And if you've been avoiding reading, if you've been avoiding studying, if you know that you have got to do this, accompany me. Let's do it now. Elizabeth says I've got to put that on a list and do shadow work. Oh, it's really, really good. If you've got to do shadow work around codependency, oh, this one cuts to the quick. It really does. Okay, how does this thing work? How does this 80s yuppie style thing work? Let's see. I think that I just do, hang on. I think I do, so we'll do, let's do 12, let's do 10 minutes first. Okay. All right, bon voyage, honey bunnies. Okay, we've done 10 minutes of reading now, darlings. How are we doing? If you're somebody that struggles with reading and has resistance to reading, that might have been the longest you've read in a while. So if that's the case, congratulations, well done. And you should feel very proud of yourself. Cherry Blossom just got in. Hello, darling. Thanks for joining us. Oh, wow. Okay. Sagata, another one who just finished Circe by Madeline Miller a few minutes ago in lovely audiobook reading by Perdita Weeks. Now I'll go back to reading Buddhist philosophy texts. Lovely. Quite a few people have read Circe recently, so that's really cool. Elizabeth is reading a guidebook for the Urban Tarot. Julie B is planting radishes indoors. Lovely. Thank you for joining us. Witchy Woo Woman is studying runes and sigils. Gorgeous. Are other people studying? Do we have some studiers here? I'm definitely going to do a study with me at some point. I mean, this is read or study because I think really you can do either. Or you can write or you can craft, you know, whatever. You can do what you feel if you just want some company. But I think reading and studying, for me, they're quite close together because I read non-fiction, so I feel like I'm always learning something. And I will actually have to grab my tabs because there's something here that I want to remember to write down later, a technique that I think is really great. So I'll be doing that in a second. Who pays attention to how much they've read? I do. I get a bit of a thrill from seeing how many pages I've read. I try not to rush myself. Persona is reading The Drama of the Gifted Child by Alice Miller. Alice Miller is incredible. The Drama of the Gifted Child and The Drama of Being a Child are both excellent books. Really good choice there. Alice Miller's amazing. Ashley Vampire Heart says, I'm sewing a drawstring bag for a new tarot deck. Oh, lovely. That sounds really nice. And are you listening to anything, darling? Have you got an audiobook on or something, or a podcast? Seymour has just started The Temple of Shamanic Witchcraft by Christopher Penczak. Nicely done. Jean is playing with a new tarot deck. Hi, Jean. Lovely to see you as always, darling. Which tarot deck are you playing with? Rachel wants to know. I want to know as well. Which tarot deck have you got on the go, darling? Julie B is in a reading rut. Yeah, I don't think you're alone there, darling. I think some people are really. I've been in a couple of reading ruts this year, believe me. But I just started giving myself access to lots more different books and just kind of flipping between what I want. One thing I keep returning back to is Meditations, Marcus Aurelius. Oh my gosh. Baudelaire. I'm reading the complete poems of Baudelaire. That's perfect. I mean, good God, on a blue banana. Yeah, I'm rereading Becoming Dangerous. It's Witchy Femmes, Queer Conjurers, and Magical Rebels. It's like a list of a collection of stories and essays. Oh, Jackson says, I love Charles. Oh my God. Yeah, for real. Oh, MA's reading Audre Lorde. I'm reading too. The Master's Tools Will Never Dismantle the Master's House. This is something I grabbed in case I want to read it. So I've got a lot of different books on the go, and that got me out of my reading slump because usually I won't read any more than 3 maximum. I try to just stick to 2. One that is perhaps a little bit more meaty, and another one that's a little bit more relaxing, like some essays or some poetry, whatever. But usually I will not read any more than that. But I got myself into this reading slump where I just thought, you know what, I'm just going to give myself access to quite a few different books and see if that at least makes me start reading. Because I feel a little unhealthy when I just don't read for ages. So yeah, I gave myself access to more options, and that really worked. So I know for some people it seems a little bit batshit to have all of these different books that I'm in various stages of reading. But for me, you know what, it works. It's just how I'm liking it at the moment. I think I'm going to carry on with the codependency recovery plan. Really enjoying this. This is great. I'm just going to grab my little tabs and I'll be right back with you guys. I've got a lovely blanket over me and we will do a little bit more reading. Oh, Cherry Blossom hasn't purchased anything new in 8 months. Well done, darling. That's awesome. Oh, it's Ramsay's 33rd birthday. Happy birthday, darling. Thank you for joining us for your birthday. How lovely. That's so lovely. Jean is playing with the St. Jinx Arcana Tarot and Modern Witch Tarot, exploring gender and the beauty of the comic human body. Amazing. That sounds lovely. I've literally got my Modern Witch literally within reaching distance of me, and you're actually balanced on the Modern Witch Tarot box, guys. my phone is popped on top of the Modern Witch Tarot box, so it's never too far away from me at the moment. I'm very much loving Modern Witch. Yeah, okay. Have a little sip of my Dr. P. I can't help it, darlings. I know it's terrible for me, but I just love fizzy drinks. Oh, Elizabeth says there's beautiful storms brewing where I live. How lovely. Whereabouts are you, darling? We had a few cracks of thunder the other day. Sacred Meow says my newest deck is Lightseers. Lovely. One of my newest decks is Muse Tarot, which is also by Chris Ann Donnelly and absolutely amazing. E-Bug says, do you have a special time of day to read? Not really, no. I really love when I have the day off and I can just have a luxury read in bed. So I'll go to the kitchen, I'll get a tray and I'll put some bits and pieces on it, some pistachios, some orange juice, some chocolate or whatever I want, tea and biscuits, bananas, and then go to bed and just read in bed. Oh, it's bloody lovely. Utter luxury, so it is. And I'll write in bed as well. Oh, Elizabeth's in North Carolina in the US. Oh, I'd love to be under a storm in North Carolina right now. That sounds just so different. Oh, it sounds lovely. Can't wait to get on a plane to the US. It's been ever such a long time, but I'm itching now. I really am. How lovely for you, darling. That's really nice. Say hello to Thor for us. So yeah, I don't have a special time of day to read. No, I tell you what I love, where I love reading, and I've missed this a lot with the pandemic. I love reading on public transport. Darlings, I love reading on the train. Isn't it just so luxury to get on the train and just read your book while you could feel the tracks under you and the movement of the train and just the lovely train sounds and watching everything go by outside the window and just, yeah, just seeping into a book. I remember taking the train to Swansea and reading Dylan Thomas poetry all the way, because who would not read Dylan Thomas all the way to Swansea? I mean, it's got to happen. I've actually always got Dylan Thomas in my bag. I've always got one book in my bag with me all the time, and it's the complete works of Dylan Thomas, the selected poems, sorry, of Dylan Thomas, and well worth a punt, I must say. Okay, let me grab my tabs, 1 second, because I really want to just mark this. Where did I put them? Here they are. I've got something in my book I want to remember, guys. And then we'll get right back on with a bit more. Oh, I'm so comfy. God, utter blessing this is. Elle says, I feel like the fanciest of humans when I read on a train. I feel you. I know, right? It's just one of those simple luxuries that feels like, should I have this? Should I be allowed this? Yeah. It feels like eating pudding before eating dinner. I feel like I shouldn't be allowed it, but yet I am. It's one of the just simple pleasures of adult life that I'm allowed to read on the train. How wondrous. There we go. I'll get that on there because I want to remember that for later. Actually, we'll go for the side. Who else uses tabs so they can refer back to things? E-Bug, I will appalling this idea of scheduling 10 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day or a certain day of the week to read. I too like non-fiction. Yes, reading on a train would be a dream. Jenny Lynn says, I tab all books. Yep. Steffi June loves using tabs. Excellent. I am not alone here. All right, darlings, I'm going to go for a little bit of a longer stint now. We had 10 minutes before. Now I think we will have 18 minutes. Yeah, I think that's about right. Okay. Let's nurture our brains together, darlings. Mm. Okay, honey bunnies, we've done another 18 minutes of reading now. Oh, I'm really getting into it. I'm feeling good. How are you guys feeling? I noticed a lot of lovely chat going on with people backing and forthing with each other. That's really awesome. A quiet live of reading. Love it, says Mistress Hook. Thank you for joining us, darling. A Butterfly Magic with hot tea says, you know you're well loved when people just come to watch you read. Thank you. I'm hoping that people are also reading and maybe not just watching me read. But if you just want to watch me read, you just want to watch me turn the pages and sip my Dr. Pepper Zero, be my guest. Mm, mm. Zulala says, oh, this is a live. Okay, I'm going to start reading too then. Exactly. That's the whole purpose of the live. I'm reading. I was just going to read, but then I thought, let me live stream myself so you can come with me and read alongside me and we can encourage each other to have a little reading extravaganza. I think that would be really nice. And I think some people are studying as well, which is great. Let us know what you're studying, darlings. Nathan says, hey, me and Ember say hi. Hello, darling, and hello to you, Ember Honey Raven. You fucking legend. I hope you're both well. I hope you're both having a lovely time chatting and hanging out. Seymour says, please do this more, Kellyanne. Should I? I think perhaps I should. Yes. Do you know, it's just such a thing I do anyway that I may as well do live and you can join me. I think that for some people the idea of filming themselves reading is not pleasant. But for me, yeah, I don't mind. So I think if it's useful and it's making people feel motivated, that's great. Bobby says, studying a communication textbook for a midterm with some uncertain faces afterwards. Bless you, darling. You're doing well. Carry on. Keep going. Keep studying for that midterm. That's awesome. Ooh, Divya says, I'm making pita bread, which is a kind of learning too. Yes, indeed. Oh, I love pita. Jordan says, sewing zippers into pillows here. Oh, lovely. Very productive. People being so productive. Oh, Simply ASMR says, I work in a bookshop in the Highlands and we had some orders today for Rebel Witch. Oh, that's so lovely. That's so amazing. Oh, that makes me so happy. That's sweet. I'm going to write another book, guys. You heard it here first. My editor has asked me to pitch for another book. And it looks like it could be a book about witchcraft as it relates to mental health, recovery, wellness, those things. So, yeah, still very much in keeping, obviously, with what I'm so interested in and what I'm passionate about in the craft. So I'm going to hash it out with my editor and we're going to figure out sort of what I want to include. I'm very excited to be able to play around with the chapters and all that. Just, yeah, visualizing it for myself now in my brain box. People saying the topic sounds amazing. Thank you, Rachel. Jenny says, oh my God, yes. Yay, I know, I'm excited. It's going to be cool. Oh. S. Stewart says, yes, please. Going through the hardest time. Would love to read it. I'm sorry you're going through a hard time, darling. Bless you. I'm sending you a spiritual virtual hug. Simply ASMR says, did you find writing a book draining, either physically or spiritually? Yes, I did, but I think it was more because of the extenuating circumstances around the writing of Rebel Witch. I actually really loved the material, and it's a relatively easy book for me to write. It's just really trying to inspire people to do things in their own way, and everything I talk about on my channel, really. So you wouldn't have thought it would be draining, but it's because of everything that was happening. I experienced a heartbreak part way through writing the book, a lot of sort of very tumultuous emotion, and at times high drama was occurring. And then I went to Amsterdam for a little bit of a break, a little bit of recovery time, and then COVID hit and we went into the first big lockdown. So that was kind of wild. Then I had a situation about 5 months into lockdown that was also kind of difficult. So a lot was thrown at me, and that's why I would say it was physically and spiritually draining. It wasn't because of the book, it wasn't because it was a difficult book to write, or because it's not the book I wanted to write. It was absolutely the book I wanted to write, but it was the most heinous time. And I actually do break that down in a video on my channel about writing a book, and I talk about sort of like the good, the bad, and the ugly. Mostly the ugly is what I spoke about in that video. Zulala says, yes, definitely looking forward to the audiobook. I want to get both the physical and audio. Oh, that's amazing. Thank you so much. I recorded the audiobook myself. You guys will be pleased to know. So it is my voice. Because we thought that would, well, I thought really that it would be absolutely preposterous to have anybody else do it, because it would just sound so weird. And yeah, Watkins were like, hey, you know, if you want to do it, you're welcome. We can send the flight case to your house and you can have a stab at it. And I did very well. I feel like, yes, I did well at reading my own book. Oh, Mandy, you can't find a place to buy Rebel Witch in Brazil. I really feel like that will I really feel like that will change, and you will be able to order it on Amazon. But the thing is, apparently with Amazon at the moment, they are not I can't remember exactly how my editor explained it, but basically, because of the situation with the lockdowns and stuff, Amazon used to really prioritize books and having enough in every like having enough of an ability to fulfill orders in every single country. But because now books are not the main thing that sells, because of lockdowns, they've experienced a massive surge in the amount of tech that they sell and other things. They're not prioritizing books as much, and it's really important therefore that you get a very strong amount of pre-orders in order for Amazon to stop being so stingy about where they're going to deliver and stuff, I think, anyway. Of course it will be like an English language copy, because we're not sure who's going to buy licenses yet. I know my book will be in French. I know that for sure. They are translating it into French, which is so exciting. So yeah, I think that will change. I hope so anyway. I don't want you to not be able to buy it in Brazil. That would suck. But there have been some issues. Yeah, you can order the book in the US. Yeah, you can order it from Barnes and Noble. You can order it from Amazon. You can order it from Book Depository. I think is that you? I'm sorry, darlings. You can order it in the US. Yeah. The Spiritual Witch says, just found your channel about a month ago. I've been binge watching you ever since. I adore your lovely spirit. Thank you so much. That's such a lovely thing to say. I appreciate you so much. Thank you for the binge watching. The Spiritual Witch, you sound like you've got a channel yourself. Have you got a channel I should be watching? The Spiritual Witch? That sounds like a channel name to me, darling. Let me know, because I'll put you on my list. I like to meet everyone. I'm very nosy. I like to get up in everybody's business. Oh, yeah. Mariana, oh, the Spiritual Witch, you have a channel? No. I bet it's not cringy at all. It's no cringier than the stuff I make. Don't be silly. Let me write that down. I'll come and say hello after this. The Spiritual Witch. Let me write this on my arm. Nice to meet you. Okay. Yes, so the signed copies, darling. My lovely, wonderful illustrator is making some book plates for me right now. And I'm going to sell them on my website. You'll be able to buy a signatured book plate that you'll be able to stick into the front of the book, therefore giving you a signed copy. So that'll be cool. So yeah, that's how it's going to work. And with that all being said, who's ready to get back into it? Who's feeling it? Ready? Jen said, I think that's a great compromise. Yeah, me too. That's great. I'm glad so many people are pleased with the book plates. I know it won't suit everybody, but it's a good idea, isn't it? And it will be a nice design that will be in the Rebel Witch style, with the sort of, you know, some of the design elements there. So I'm excited. I'm going to do ones that just say to whoever, thanks Kelly, and then my signature. But then I'm also going to do big ones that have like individual customized inscriptions, and mate, I'm going to write like, I don't know, I'm going to get really flowery and poetic and experimental, and you can almost like pay for something that's more in depth and almost intuitively tries to match up with what I think you might need in the front of your book. I don't know. I'll figure it out. I've got this idea about it. Good night, Zulala. It was lovely to hang out with you, darling. Mariana, a book plate is just a sticker that you whack in the front of the book, and it usually has "this book belongs to" and then your name. But a lot of people do book plates as well that have the sort of author signature on there. So we're going to do that. Oh, Zulala's not leaving. Oh, sorry, you're saying goodnight to Mandy. Oh, good night, Mandy. It was lovely to hang out with you, darling. Sorry, I said goodbye to the wrong person. Good, Zulala's staying. Okay, cool. Mandy, I hope you have a lovely evening, day, wherever you are. All right. Now, I'm going to carry on with my book, The Codependency Recovery Plan, for a bit longer. Some of this is incredible. Some of it is much more common sense for me. You know, I've been sort of explaining some of this stuff on my channel for quite a long time. So there's the odd thing that's really great that I really, you know, it's really like, oh wow, you know. I did feel the first half of the book called me out a lot more in terms of what I'm reading the book for, and how I've seen codependency show up in my own life. I think the second half of the book that I'm seeing a little bit more what I would think of as kind of common sense things that I regularly do teach or talk about with my clients. And so I might read this bit a little bit more quickly, because this bit's about boundaries, this next bit coming up. And I think, you know, guys, I think we know I'm very comfortable with boundaries. So I might have a little sort of skate over this building boundaries bit, and then I'm on to what's the next part. Letting go of perfectionism, not allowing abuse. Okay, maintaining open communication. I think this is definitely a part that's going to be useful. Passive and passive aggressive communication, communication as a means of control, communication as protection, restorative communication. Yeah, this looks really great. So non-violent communication, which actually I'm rereading this. So that might be a cue for me to switch up to this possibly. Or maybe I want to spend the last part of my evening with the fabulous Malcolm. Who knows? Let's see where we go. Maybe a bit of my hood feminism. I don't know. I'll switch it up. I'll see. I'll carry on with this for now. Who else is reading more than one book and is flipping between? Anybody? Oh, I've got a wand here. You know, just in case I want to do a spell on you. Because you're mine. Oh, I'm so silly. Paul is reading more than one book. Jen says, thanks for letting us know what's inside of it. I'm very interested in making the purchase. It's a really good book, this one. Yep, quite a few people reading more than one book. Awesome. Usually 3 to 5 at a time for MA. That's cool. Hi, Maha. It's lovely to see you, darling. Elle's reading Reproductive Justice and Candle Magic, lol. Wait a minute. I thought Elle was reading Circa. Are you? There's lots of people reading Circa, I must say. I've noticed a few people saying that. Reproductive justice, I'm all about that, I must say. I was going to say who wouldn't be, but actually plenty of people. Okay, a little bit more reading now, guys. Are we ready for more? If you've just joined us, hello. We're having some reading time, some study time. If you've got some crafting to do, you want some company, we're having nice quiet time around here. Okay. Let's have a 15-minute stretch now, darlings. Grab your drinks, grab a snack. Oh, luxury. There we go. And we have done another, what did we do that time? 15 minutes, guys. Was it 15 minutes? And I've got my wire for my phone all tangled up in my blanket. There we go. Okay. So, how many pages have I read? Let's have a look. It's not about speed reading, guys. I'm not trying to say that that's the most important thing, but for me, I find it quite interesting just to know what I've read. So, 48, 58, 68. So 58, 68, 78, 85. So nearly 40 pages. Is that right? I've got this calculator, darling. So sometimes I'm like, hang on, what? Numbers. Yeah, so 58, 68, 78, 85. So nearly 40 pages. Yeah, that's great. I've got quite a lot of tabs there as well of things that I want to go back to and think about. And yeah. Also, one thing I really love about this book is it quotes Dita Von Teese, which is really awesome. You know, you can be the biggest, juiciest, most beautiful peach and you'll still find somebody who hates peaches. I really love that quote. So that made me happy to see Dita Von Teese quoted in this book. That was really awesome. eBug says, I wish I was a fast reader, but I'm not. Yeah, I really want to stress that I don't think it's necessarily important to be a fast reader. I mean, it's one of those things that people wish they did have if they don't have, but I think it's super important that we don't sort of make that into such a big thing, because I think it makes people who are slower readers not enjoy it as much. And I think it also makes people rush themselves. Zulala says, yeah, I only read 4 pages in 15 minutes. Granted, I was also highlighting. Cool. Good to be highlighting. Do you know, I've had quite a lot of sweets considering it's, what time is it? It's 12:30. So yeah, hopefully I don't have too much of a sugar rush. I have got some CBD oil somewhere I could take to settle me down a bit. I'll see how I feel after a bit more reading. So somebody asked me earlier, I think it might have been eBug, I'm not sure. You know, is there a particular time of day that I like to read? And I mentioned liking to get up on a day off and just read in bed, just go back and, you know, go back to bed and read my book. I will also say I do like reading last thing at night because it does make me tired. I'm actually feeling tired right about now. I am right next to a lot of candles, which is making me feel kind of warm actually. But I'm sort of not too mad about it because I am a bit sleepy now. So with the warmth combined with reading, I definitely won't be too long to bed now, which is great because I sometimes do really struggle to get to bed before 3 a.m. But that will not happen tonight because of all my reading that I've done. So Paula says, I've been working in my book and writing a bit while I wait for the glue to dry. Awesome. That sounds like a lovely, productive, artistic, gorgeous time there. Zulala says, reading is really helping my vocabulary. Oh God, yeah, I notice the difference if I've been on a really big sort of reading hype, and then yeah, I notice I have more access to my words, and I'm using words I haven't used in a while and stuff like that. So it's quite nice. It is nice. Nearly got to the end of that boundaries section, darlings. So then I'll be on to maintaining open communication. What comes after that? Let's have a look. Step 5, nurture intimacy. Intimacy in a codependent relationship, emotional guarding, lack of demonstrated affection, hiding vulnerabilities, pushing away those who show you affection, the intimacy substance connection. That sounds really interesting. Yeah, so lots of interesting things to come. Elle says, oof, boundaries. Yeah, the boundaries section actually, even though I said, oh, I won't need much of this because I really do think I've read so much about boundaries and you know, how to enforce boundaries. But I wanted to put a tab on this just because I think it's really well explained. It says here, People with healthy boundaries know they bring gifts to their relationships just by being who they naturally are. The foundation of their relationships is not duty, obligation, or desperation. They trust with certainty that there are people in this world who value them enough to respect their limits. So basically what's being said there is, if you know you can have boundaries, it's because you know that you're worthy, whether you know that you're worthy even though you have boundaries, even though you've set things in place to say, I'm not going to lend money because that's a boundary for me, or I don't like being touched without, I don't like being touched on the shoulders, I don't like being hugged by people I'm not really close to, that's a boundary for me. I don't like opening up about my childhood, that's a boundary for me. If somebody has boundaries like that, then they know on some level that it's okay to have those boundaries. They still bring worth to the relationship. They still bring interest to the conversation. They still have a right to take up space in a room, to take up space in a community. It's there's a sort of very interesting correlation, isn't there, between a total lack of boundaries and a lack of belief in one's right to be who they are anyway, and be loved, be worthy, be appreciated, be listened to, take up the space anyway. So I found that a very interesting way of putting it across, and it's something that I really, really believe. People with healthy boundaries know that they bring gifts to the relationships just by being who they naturally are. The foundation of their relationships is not duty, obligation, or desperation. They trust with certainty that there are people in this world who value them enough to respect their limits. I just found that really powerful. Jenny Lynn says boundaries are self-respect. Exactly. Ebug says boundaries are hard but necessary and a form of self-love. I agree with what she said. Divya says that's powerful. Elle says, oh, that hit different. My inner child needed to hear that. Good. That's great. Mariana says, oh my God, that's speaking directly to me. Awesome. I'm glad I mentioned, because I was reading that and I thought, oh, I love that. That's it. That's the point about boundaries, is to know that you can have them and still be considered worthy. You can have them and you're still bringing something to the relationship. I think so many people that are terrified of having boundaries are terrified that if they put those boundaries in place, they're not giving enough. They're not going to be worthy enough to have connections. And that isn't fair on them at all. And it's also not giving people around them the opportunity to show, like, hey, I respect you for who you are. I don't need you to have no boundaries with me, I think we need to allow people to show us that they respect us for who we are and they respect our boundaries. We need to have that faith. And I think we need to show people that, like, all right, you know what? I will believe that it's possible that you can view me that way and you can appreciate the relationship in that way. Let me not write you off as someone that needs me to forego my every boundary. There are some people in this world who do need you to forego your every boundary. And I think part of reading this book is obviously deciding that you do not have to be around those people. You do not have to give those people what they proclaim to want. But we have to give people the opportunity, don't we, I think, to defy our expectations and to show us that they're okay with people in their life having boundaries. And lots of people are okay with it. Zulala says, you definitely learn who your tribe is when creating and enforcing boundaries. Exactly. Paula says, I worry about having to enforce boundaries. That's definitely part of what this is about. People being nervous about that, for sure. So yeah, I think this might be the last little bout for me, darlings. I've been reading for on and off for an hour and a half now. Luna says boundaries are necessary. Absolutely. So I've really enjoyed that. I think I'm going to stop now for a bit. I think I might dip into should I read Hood Feminism a bit more, or should I start Why I'm No Longer Talking to White People About Race? I think I'll keep reading Hood Feminism. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. I thought I might last 2 hours actually, darlings, but I don't think I'll last quite 2 hours. I'm really feeling quite sleepy now, so that's a good thing, isn't it, about reading, is you start to feel quite sleepy. Okay. Oh, bless me. Oh, bless me again. I knew I was going to sneeze on this live for some reason. Luna says, Kellyanne, have you read John Trudell poetry? I have not. Is that a recommendation? Because I would love a poetry recommendation. I'll have a look. Let me write that down. I'm going to write it in the front of my Malcolm X autobiography, because I've already got a poetry suggestion in here, actually, from one of my private Discord chats that I did, one of my Pop-Tarts live streams. Jenny Cousins. Yeah. So John Trudell, okay. Or Trudell, I'm not sure which, but there we go. I've got Jenny Cousins and John Trudell both to check out now. Thank you very much. I love the poetry recommendations. Thank you for keeping them safe for me, Malcolm. I appreciate that. Okay. Yeah, so I think 40 pages, good for me. Can't say fairer than that. Emerald Moon Beck says, hello from Aussie. Hello, darling. How are you doing? Are you reading along with us or studying? Let me have a look. Filippo says, I've been struggling to find books about personal development that have practical exercises in them, such as meditations. Do you all have any recommendations? I'm reading the Codependency Recovery Plan. That has exercises in every chapter. Things to do with journaling, practical exercises. I mean, there are actually lots that have practical exercises. It depends what you want. It depends what kind of self-development book you want, really. There's so many. So I think you'd have to delve into actually what you're looking for, Filippo, and then sort of work out from there, asking people what are the ones that are really interactive, you know. Oh, Emerald is reading Rise, Sister, Rise. Awesome. Faith is writing Irish. Oh, gorgeous. Julie B wants to know, have you read Walt Whitman's poetry? I have indeed. Me and Walt go way back. I absolutely love Walt Whitman. Yeah, so Candy Soul and Soil says, hi Kellyanne, what a lovely surprise. Hello darling, it's lovely to see you here. Bobby is giving you a recommendation, Filippo. The Little Work combines spiritual and personal development, lots of exercises. There we go. Thank you for that recommendation, Bobby. Okay, so I'm gonna have myself a little nightcap now with Hood Feminism, Notes from the Women White Feminists Forgot by Mickey Kendall. I'm really enjoying this. If you want to see an in-depth analysis of this, if you want to see a really interesting take on it, then you can check out Emmett's channel, Ametrine Witch. There we go. I was going to say Amethyst Witch. I was like, not quite. Ametrine Witch. Emmett does a really interesting exploration of some of their favourite things from this book. So that's awesome. All right. And I'm on a chapter called It's Raining Patriarchy. So I'm going to go in there and do a little bit more reading. This one's the spine is a bit stiff on this one. I really want to wrench it back sometimes, but let me not. Okay, darlings. And let's go in for our last bout of reading, I think, for tonight, whenever you might be reading. Eleanor Wiley is another of my loves. Oh, Julie, I must write that down. You guys are giving me such good poetry suggestions. I don't know why I've decided they're all going in my Malcolm X autobiography, but they are. I started, so I'll go on. Okay. All right, my loves. I'm going to go for another 15 minutes. And I'm into Hood Feminism, darlings. If you've just joined us, we're reading, studying, crafting, whatever you want to do. We're into our last 15 minutes now, so please do join. Okay, 6 pages done of Hood Feminism. Really, really enjoyed the beginning of that chapter. It's Reigning Patriarchy. It was really, really interesting. Particularly enjoyed what she had to say about the roles, the gender roles played inside homes amongst Black families, and how, interestingly, like some of the gender roles that are assigned to men and women might be more ingrained or less questioned and less seen as less oppressive amongst women in Black families, because handing a plate of dinner to a Black man that you love in your family will be a sign of respect and love accorded to him that he won't have experienced as much in society. So that is really interestingly explained, and explain how that sort of breakdown of gender roles and gender norms, even though it's happening, there might be certain reasons why certain things are upheld. And also she was writing about sort of a demand for respect in the home from Black men, and how that correlates with the lack of respect accorded to Black men in society. So just really super interesting. This is a fucking great book, guys. Okay. Alrighty. Yes. How is everybody doing? Has everybody enjoyed their reading time? Jen said, I need to get back to that book. I'm partway into it. The chapter about hunger really got me. Yeah, it's such an incredible book. I really, really do love this one. I'm getting so much out of it. It's really interesting. The only thing I would say about this book is I'm a fan, excuse me, I'm a fan of a subheading. I really do think this book could do with some subheadings and some bullet points. It's very much written without those things. Like, for example, I just got to a part about code switching, and, how women use code switching. And I really feel like that could have just done with a subheading. I mean, it just goes into a new paragraph and starts talking about code switching, which I think is a very big subject. And I just felt like, what would be really nice if there was a line break here and a subheading to just say, now we're talking about code switching, or now we're talking about, it's very, it runs on without any subheadings. And I just would have liked some. That's all I will say. But that's just about the layout. It's not a criticism of the text per se. I just like subheadings and bullet points, and ways of knowing, like, okay, this is a thing on its own, like it's relevant to the chapter, but this is what we're doing now in this chapter. Rachel says, yes, love subheadings, they're so helpful for me. Yeah, so I feel the same. Oh, Nikki says, I'm reading The Happy Vegan. That's cool. I really want to read books about veganism, books about animal rights, books about animal advocacy. So I'm definitely going to be checking out some of that. During my depth year, I had this really feeling, this urge that I wanted to suddenly purchase some texts on that. And then I was like, no, it's your depth year. You're not buying books. But I thought to myself, it's interesting that I've suddenly got this massive urge kind of thing. I really want to read about that. So I will be doing. For those who do not know, and of course, how could you not know, because vegans are so loud about it, but I am a vegan. I've been a vegan for many moons now. But I don't really read about it. So I think that'd be really interesting. People saying good night, darlings. Richard says, hello, Kellyanne. I miss listening to you talk. Good morning from this side of the earth. Good morning, Richard. I hope you're gearing up for a lovely day, darling. Yeah, so, oh yeah, Jen saying the subheadings might be better to focus and help absorb all the info. Yeah, definitely. Layla Saad's book, White Supremacy and Me and White Supremacy, I can't remember which way around. That book has lots of subheadings, lots of bullet points, and I really enjoyed that aspect of it, because I really felt like we're going on this journey and it's all laid out for you in sections. And so even within the chapters, you have these subheadings that kind of explain to you how the chapter is broken down and what we're focusing on for each bit. So I would have liked subheadings and bullet points, but you know what? Maybe Mickey Kendall does not like it that way, doesn't like the look of that, is not into that, and that's totally fine, because Mickey Kendall knows what Mickey Kendall is doing. Trust me on that. This is a very, very good book. Damn, this is a good book. Steffi June says, I'd love to do this soon. Yeah, there's quite a few people saying hope to do it again. Emerald Moonbeck says I hope we do this again. Jen Lynn says, I love how well-rounded your learning is. Very inspiring. Thank you for this very cool idea. Thank you. I definitely can't say that I came up with this idea, but I came up with doing it on my channel, a read with me on my channel. Richard says, I wonder will Kellyanne read the audiobook? Yep, the audiobook has been read. It has been recorded by me. I recorded it in my bedroom. They sent me a flight case with all the stuff, all the spongy audio sheets that I needed, and the very, very posh, very expensive microphone. And so, yeah, that's all been done by me. So anybody that listens to the audiobook, you will be able to listen to me, which is really cool. Darlings, yeah, let's do this again. Let's do a read/study with me again. I would definitely be up for that for sure. I think I might do a live art witch as well if you guys want to get your art books out with me and we can do some art together. I will position the camera so that it's actually looking at my art book, and we can do that for little stretches of time if you want. Get some creative stuff going. So yeah, I think this will be really cool. Let's do this more often. I have very much enjoyed this. Thank you for spending a couple of hours with me reading. I have loved it. I'm going to read a little bit more of Hood Feminism in bed now, take my makeup off, and drift into sleep. I have really loved just like mellowing out with you, chilling out, settling down. So thank you very much for that, darlings, and hope you all have a riveting rest of the day, whatever you're doing. And if you're watching on playback, thank you so much for being a part of this. I hope you got some really good reading or studying done. Let us know in the comments, what were you studying, what were you reading, what was going on. And to everybody who's joined me here live, I just really, really appreciate it. I've had a really good time. I've really enjoyed just sort of relishing your energy and connecting with your comments and stuff. So yeah, I hope you all have a lovely rest of the day, rest of the evening. Mwah. Blessed be my darlings. And I'll see you soon for some unboxings and some more ramblings. And you know me, you can rely on me. I'm always doing my thing. All right, darlings, it was good to see you all. Night, night.